Alrighty, gamers, welcome in to Retro Time. I'm No Such Timed, and there was something particularly I wanted to talk about in this video because I used to play a lot of extreme sports games, which included like wrestling games and skateboarding games. But there we're lacking in some areas with these extreme sports games. In the past few years, I've seen nothing but skateboarding games come out, and I just find this extremely weird that we're not seeing video games based around BMX games anymore, or like aggressive inline skating games. So I'm gonna take a look at some of these games that did exist at one point, and wonder why they didn't release any more games afterwards. So let's get into it. All right, now, so this recent release on a Nintendo Switch is a little bit older. This got dropped on other consoles like a little while ago, but this led me to this idea. So as you can see, um, looking at video clips here. Let's see if we can play this. So I'm gonna mute this so I don't, because I don't know about the music in it. So but yeah, as you can see, this game just got released onto the Nintendo Switch. Um, in the past few years, we've seen quite a few skateboarding games being released on the Nintendo Switch, and we haven't been seeing any sort of other extreme sports games come out besides skateboarding games. Now, I know a lot of people love skateboarding games, but me back in the day, there was other types of games I liked, and even if you go and search it, we'll find out what the recent most BMX game is, or what the most recent aggressive inline is. And we're gonna go into even the aspect of dirt bike games as well, because these were games I enjoyed growing up, and I played the heck out of Matt Hoffman and Dave Mara back in the day. Those were such fun games, and I played Tony Hawk. But I was more fascinated by the Dave Mara and Matt Hoffman games. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look. Alright, so this game was released on August 28th, 2020. Now, it looks like I would enjoy this game, but there's more to it. So it looks like you know, this reminds me a lot of like Matt Hoffman and Dave Mara from back in the day. Although Dave Mara was a bit janky and had a lot of glitches to it, but this is an example of games we don't see that much anymore. Unfortunately, these games are hard to even come by anymore because people just aren't releasing BMX games. I've seen so many skateboarding games released in the past few years. Like I've seen at least three different skateboarding style games released within the past couple years, I want to say. And, as for BMX, I didn't even know this thing existed. That's how many, BMX extreme sports games we've been getting the past few years. And if this is the last one I've seen come out, well, what is going on here? So, looking at this released again August 28th, 2020. All right. So I really okay. So is that this one out? So let's see. Max Street. All right. Console game. So all right. So here's another one. Like release date, full game release date. So right. So back in 2017, and you go back even further, you're getting pumped. And then the last real game I remember playing that was BMX of any style was Matt Hoffman. Oh, what was that? Mm, Matt Hoffman BMX game. So actually, I remember this Pro BMX 2, was it? So yeah, this is the very last BMX game I've seen come out in years, and this was a blast. This was you took Tony Hawk and you made it into a BMX style game. So again, like as you can see, graphics are very similar to what Tony Hawk had back then. Just I enjoyed this, and nobody really talked about this outside of me and my like stepbrother at the time, because I was genuinely just a fan of BMXing. I wasn't really a skateboarding guy. I had my little BMX group, and that we kind of separated ourselves, but eventually, all BMX and skateboarding people became friends. So like this wasn't the only one I remember playing. So Dave Mara, freestyle BMX. All right, so Dave Mara freestyle BMX was on the GameCube, and that's where I remember playing it. Now, looking at the graphics, you can see that it was just kind of gritty, and the graphics weren't the greatest, but it still got the point across. And there was more of a free flow to this one, as opposed to Matt Hoffman. Matt Hoffman was more of a Tony Hawk style game. And looking at this, the 93% rating, why did they not bring this game back out? Cuz like if it's a 93% like this video game, then that would actually have to speak volume to these companies. Now, it didn't get a very good rating, of course, on IGN, but back in the day, the rating system was different, and I actually enjoyed this. I played this. The mechanics in it just always made me laugh because when you fell to the ground, the guy would just lay there lifeless, and then the bike would fly somewhere. So the free flow in this was a lot more free. So there was one more BMX game I do remember playing, and it was based off of Day of Mary, and it was called this. All right, BMX XXX. So yeah, as you can see, this was more of they took a Dave Mayer style, and they rearranged it to play a bit more for adults, and that was the avenue they tried to hit. And so, like, I don't even know the rating of this game. Um, is there a rating system? So yeah, as you can see, it came out for like every console that was out back then. So these games are a dime a dozen now. We don't see them come out as much. I've seen more skateboarding games come out recently than I did any of this. So if you go and even another one, here's another one that I've seen, but I haven't really ever played. And these are games that if you're gonna bring out skateboarding games, I would love to see games like this come out. So aggressive inline was, I believe it was for the PlayStation 2, but not only PlayStation 2, um, GameCube. All right. So, this is another example of. All right. So let's for PlayStation 2. Sorry. So this is another example of games that just were very built like Tony Hawk, but were just had their own style to it. And we were in a time frame back in the early 2000s and 90s when this was an actual thing. People were actually into extreme sports games because they were just fun. Back in the day, a lot of people were into skateboarding. But these games have become dime a dozen. I don't think there are any more out. So games. So aggressive inline skating, aggressive inline skating game. So there's another one, which Giant Bomb. Giant Bomb is it's pretty much Jeff Grubb's website. Um, so we have Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is based around the idea of it. So this one came out in the UK back on PlayStation, but we're seeing a lack of these games, and it's as I grow older, I kind of miss some of them. Like I definitely miss Matt Hoffman and Dave Mera, I never had an experience with aggressive inline, and I'd really like to see these games, get remastered. Because if you're capable of remastering Tony Hawk's 1 and 2, wouldn't you also be capable of remastering, the not the Dave Mara games, but like the Matt Hoffman games also. Matt Hoffman was big back in the day. Everybody knew Matt Hoffman's name, even outside of skateboarding. And this is a game that I'm just surprised they haven't bothered to remaster because this is like a 9 out of 10. That's almost like, a pretty high rated game. Like going over to IGN, if we go, which I don't which isn't doing anything right now, unfortunately. All right, there we go. We got some. All right, so it got a 9.1 rating. 3 rating is an 8. So, it's not hard to remaster these games, but I'd like to see them remastered just so I could, relive those experiences again. You know, these are games that I would really like to just see again at some point. Um, but are they ever going to be remastered? I highly doubt it. I'm sick of seeing skateboarding games, to be honest. I've seen so many of them. Like Skate XL is just another evolution of, Skate 3 back here. They just kind of just changed the name. I have Skate 3 back here, and I played it for a little bit, and it's fun, but it's not something to like write home about or like call your best friend about and talk about because it's a fun experience, but it's not anything, to the wow factor for me. And that's probably why they stopped making them. But I do wish that they would bring back these, remasters of like Dave Mayer or Matt Hoffman or even this, or create a new game for the Matt Hoffman trilogy or something like that. Just something I would like to see, or just in general, build a whole new game about a bunch of BMX riders. Even back in the day, we had Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, and that only had one game, but that was another game that I enjoyed. It's just a lot of these games that we've seen that were extreme sports. We don't see them anymore because time progresses and people don't really think about them anymore. But this is just a shout out. All right, so yeah, there you have it. I played a lot of extreme sports games, and nothing sticks out more to me. Tony Hawk kept going after a certain point. It stopped. I remember my last Tony Hawk game I played was like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, and that was pretty much no, it was I don't know what the last one was, but it was very they were trying to remake 1 and 2, and it just wasn't enjoyable because you all you did was sit on your board. You could not get off your board at all. And that was a feature I really liked in Tony Hawk's Underground, which I could see them remastering that. But this is just something I just sat here and thought about today because I watched somebody else. I watched RGT85 talk about, shout out to him, talk about Skate XL on his channel today, and I pointed out, I was like, why are we still seeing skateboarding games being made when there are other extreme sports out there like aggressive inline, which is something I actually have skates for and I haven't done in a while, or BMX. Those things still exist and are out there. In fact, I used to BMX more than I skateboarded back in the day. And I remember doing an egg beater, which is where you get up, you grind, and you turn the whole bike sideways, and you grind with the sprocket of your bike, and you just rode that out, and then you landed it, and that's how it was. But yeah, this is just it's just a time period. I would like to see those games be remade. That's all. And that's about it. So if you like this little video here, I hope you did exactly. And if you did, hit that like button. If you did like it, hit the notification bell, and also hit the subscription button, sorry. And I'll be seeing you next time. Keep gaming, gamers.